It's now time for Me and My Roku with your host, Peter Clay.
Who's your guy?
Peter.
So we have a voicemail now from Peter.
Not everybody sounds like Peter Clay.
Peter was like my brother.
This is my brother, Peter.
Pete, you are not.
Peter Clay is here today. Holy crap, it's Peter.
Oh, I love Peter.
Peter was a sweet guy.
Good luck tonight, Peter.
To your host, Peter Clay.
Well, hello again, everybody, and welcome to another fabulous, fun, and exciting edition of Me and My Roku. I'm your host, Peter Clay. Welcome aboard. This is the podcast where I come along every now and then, and I talk about just the things that I do. Me, and my Roku, and all my other streaming devices and all that stuff. I just pass along the information of what I do, and then spread it along to the whole podcast universe in bits and bytes for you to dissect yourself for what you can do with you and your streaming devices, whatever you wish. I'm not here to preach or teach or anything along those lines. I'm not saying I know everything that's going on and you must listen to me. No, that's not how it works. I just spread along information for you to decide, because I find it easier that way instead of just reporting the clickbait headlines and all that stuff and try and get hits and clicks and blah, blah, blah. I just tell you what I do, and then I just find that it works out better that way for you. Hopefully you agree. And that's why you enjoy listening to us. So we had kind of an incident here in the household shortly after I had just gotten the studio here together and all that stuff. I don't want to say it this way. Let's just say we got COVID. I don't want to put blame on anybody, like somebody went to a wine tasting party and brought it home and all that stuff and got everyone else sick in the house. I don't want to say anything that the little missus did anything wrong or anything like that. But she tested positive first. That's just a fact. We had the test to prove it. And I initially tested negative. And so then we kept our distance and all that stuff. I just wanted to make sure she was okay because she has a condition that we just, nothing serious, but it's just like we all have. I have conditions. I had a heart attack. I'm on medication, so that makes me susceptible. So we were just kind of playing it easy and all that stuff. And then about a day later, and then I tested positive myself. So you would think then, okay, not going anywhere it turned out to be about a week and a half, that I can get everything done. Then also, no, when you get COVID, you don't feel good. So thankfully, we were vaccinated and boosted and all that stuff, so that we weren't sick or having to go to the hospital or anything like that. But we don't feel good. And it's been 2 weeks now. We're negative now, and still don't feel like doing anything too much. I get up and go in the morning. I started going back to work a couple days ago and just started doing half days because by in the afternoon I'm just so. But I watched plenty of Roku, so I have plenty of things to get to here. So, but I just want to let you know it's okay. We're fine. We're gonna make it, I think. But it's one of those things. This is lingering on. This is like, yeah, this sucks. So 2 years this has been going on, and I don't know. Maybe, thankfully, we got it now instead of when we could have gotten it. No, I don't know. So maybe, who knows? I don't want to get into all these other issues and all stuff because how people feel about things. But it's just one of those things where, like, don't get it if you can. And so if you don't want to wear a mask or get vaccinated or anything like that, hooray for you. Go with God. But all I know is this was provided to me. It didn't cost me anything. And all I did is not feel well. And so that's all right. And plenty of things to do with my Roku, because that's all I basically had the energy to do. So with that in mind now, I have plenty to talk about. So let's get started.
Tranquility Base here. The Eagle has landed.
Okay. So we're back in the saddle here in the studio. Still got some work to do and getting everything kind of put together, but I really like the new mixing board. I like that I can get everything connected and hopefully now be able to connect with all of you. Maybe in the form of Twitter Spaces, Facebook Live, anything, YouTube, any of those things. Potential for just about anything. It's kind of scary, actually. I'm not making threats. I'm just saying, hey, I have the technology available to me to do these things if I ever get the energy again to do these things. So it's kind of funny. The first couple of things, just sitting around, just watching because didn't feel like doing anything else. I think the first day I watched like all the Jackass movies. And then that's not, when you're having a respiratory, it's not fun to laugh, even though it's stupid, but sometimes stupid is fine when you're not feeling well. And then I think it was the Google TV or the Chromecast with Google TV was recommending Star Trek movies. So I think we got 3, 4, and 5, and 6 all in there. So Jackass one day, Star Trek the next. And I'm still not caught up on all the things. Still haven't caught up with Picard. So there's still things to do and all that stuff. So getting back now into the heart of the matter here, the big news of the day. Let's talk about some of the things going on in the present and then the future of streaming. Let's get into some of those news. Maybe you remember on the last podcast. Yeah, it was a long time ago. I didn't have COVID yet. I don't know that. Maybe I had it. I just didn't know it yet. But CNN Plus had debuted. And we thought, oh, okay, well, that's great. But it wasn't on the Roku. So what was going on there? Well, CNN Plus starts doing... Let's try this again, folks. I haven't talked in a week. CNN Plus starts doing subtraction. Get it? Plus subtraction. 2 weeks after launching, the network streaming service has signed on fewer than 10,000 daily users, according to CNBC. Now, granted, they are a competitor. But it's a sign that it's way off pace to meet leaders' goals of nabbing 2 million subscribers. It's a little off. The ratio is not good there. But just in the first year. So in response to the belly flop, CNN plans to cut hundreds of millions of dollars from the service's budget. That seems a little rash. Where you're just getting started. It's like, well, let's cut everything. But as soon as that report came out, remember, we talked about CNN Plus not being on the Roku. As soon as that report came out, the very next day, CNN Plus, miraculously, is now on the Roku. Coincidence? I don't know. So for all those people who are saying, oh, Roku's dying, Roku's dead, Roku isn't important anymore, ding, ding. We'll see if that helps CNN Plus's numbers. Or maybe, it was just hubris on CNN's part saying, we're CNN. People are going to want to come. People are going to flock to us. We don't need Roku. Or, we'll just open up the doors and everyone will come in type of thing. So, maybe they're just getting a taste of their own medicine and just realizing. So, another thing that happened, Disney made a decision, kind of an interesting one for the fall. And they're taking Dancing with the Stars, one of their popular... Still one of the reasons to watch live television on broadcast television. They're taking that off of ABC and therefore taking it off the next day then on Hulu and putting it on Disney Plus. Yes, and they're going to do it live. Yeah, they just decided to do...
We'll do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Yeah, that's what Bob Jacobs said. He says, yes. What did he say? He said,
we'll do it live! I'll write it and we'll do it live!
Live on Disney Plus. I'm still having fun with my toys, folks. So what does this mean? Type of thing. So is this like, are they going to be shutting down ABC eventually or Hulu, getting away from all that stuff and start just putting everything on Disney Plus? Or is this just a test type of thing? This is a good show to start with. It'll be interesting to see. I don't watch Dancing with the Stars anymore. I'm not sure why I ever did. Oh, I think one of the Packers players after they won the Super Bowl was on, and the little missus was excited. And that's about it. That's the last time. And he won, by the way. And so, yeah, that's about all that. We'll have to see. This is one of those things we'll just have to see. We get these headlines and all that stuff. And it's just like, what does it mean? Well, let's find out. Okay. So, yeah, good for Disney on that. It's a good try. I think it's a good thing to discuss. It's not like, I don't know, what else would you compare it to? We'll find out about Thursday Night Football just on Amazon. And it's not like, if... I guess they kind of did. I mean, they've taken all the Star Treks off network TV and put it just on Paramount Plus. It seems to be doing well. Would they take NCIS off of CBS and put it on Paramount Plus? I don't know. The Yellowstone's one of the biggest things on their Paramount network, but then they put it on Peacock. So who knows? We're all experimenting. We're just throwing stuff up against the wall and bumping into our mics and finding out what happens. And finally in this segment here, another thing happened. I got an email, and I thought this was going to be for subscription users, but it's not. It's for everybody. Plex has come out with a system. Okay, let me put it to you this way. One of the things I recommend to you here, which I do, is I use apps to try and find out where things are and how to find them and what subscription they're on and all that stuff. I use Just Watch. I use Real Good, and I use IMDb. Those 3 apps, I can basically find out who's where, what, how, and all that good stuff. Why? That's another story. Plex is coming up with a way for right now on their mobile apps and Apple TV for the most part. And it's coming to Roku eventually, too. There's just some technical things we think. There could be a possibility of wrangling of advertising dollars, or we want this and that type of thing. But it seems like pretty benign, and it's just a technical thing. Is that on your Plex app, you type in all the services that you have, and you do a search just like you would on Just Watch or anything along those lines, and then it'll take you to it. If it's not on Plex or on your own server, it'll show you where it's at. So you just put in all the services that you have, just like you would on Just Watch or Real Good. And so I found it just like Real Good. So I use Real Good, and it goes right to my Roku then if there's something available on my services. So this is just another thing, the future of streaming. Let's come down to 1 or 2 apps, and that's all you'll need. We'll see. But 3 things going on there. Dancing with the Stars moving to Disney+, CNN+ now on Roku, and Plex wanting to be your be-all everything for you. Even if they don't have it, they'll send you where to go. Fun stuff here on Me and My Roku. Okay, so the other thing that was going on during my little quarantine, my little recovery from illness, or I was infected from the little missus. It's okay, it wasn't her fault. Yeah, it's just life. It happens. It's all right. Anyway, what was going on then was the Final Four. And, everyone did a bracket. Did you do a bracket? How'd you do? You did crappy, right? I didn't even do one. I don't even care anymore. But, of course, you got to take advantage of these things in the clickbait world, and you got to come up with brackets for everything, like the brackets of this and that and all that stuff. So there was a TV streaming bracket. That's right. Just I don't even remember who it was who started. It might have been Streamable. It might have been some other things that they just glommed onto. But they came up with the top 16 streaming services and put them up against each other in a bracket style like the NCAA. And the number 1 seed was Netflix, and the number 16 was Crunchyroll. Interesting. Okay. So, but here's the top 8 then. So it would be down the left side of your bracket on here then. So it was Netflix, Disney+, HBO Max, Prime Video, Hulu, Paramount+, Discovery+, and Apple TV+. On the left-hand side of the bracket, then, or on the right side of the bracket then, these would be the underdogs. Crunchyroll, Epix Now, Curiosity Stream, AMC+, ESPN+, Starz, Showtime, and Peacock. A couple things missing there if this was my own bracket. I think the only thing on there would be YouTube, because I pay for it. It's a subscription. I don't want the ads. And there's other things when you subscribe you get then too. So that would mean, I'm not quite sure if that would be on the left or the right side of the bracket then. ESPN Plus, to me, I guess technically is a separate service, because I can get it on the ESPN app, but I use it through another service then too then. So that would be an interesting thing for that. So this is just me, because it's me and my Roku. So the only upset would be, because I'm not even really sure it would be ranked that high on mine. I like Apple TV Plus. I don't know if it's in the top 8 along those lines. I like it. It's fine. And now I use it to watch baseball. I'll talk about that a little later. So that would be the only upset, is that Peacock would upset because ESPN Plus is part of, well, in this particular bracket, it's a little cannibalism, because it was Hulu number 5 against ESPN Plus number 12. And I watch ESPN Plus on Hulu. So we'll just let Hulu win that one. So going into round 2 then, the 1 versus 9 then would be Netflix versus Peacock. And this is another thing too. I think a lot of these tech nerds who write these articles really crap on Peacock. And I just really don't know if they've ever really watched it. It's pretty sneaky good. I mean, these are all good. I've all used them at least once. I don't use Starz enough. I've used Showtime in the past. They had that winning in their round, but on here, no, it went up against Discovery Plus, and right now that's one of those can't live without type of thing. So round 2, it's Netflix versus Peacock, Disney Plus versus Discovery Plus, 2 versus 7. 3-6 is HBO Max versus Paramount Plus. Paramount Plus has been sneaky good for us lately. Not just our CBS Next Day type of shows. There's other things on there. Prime is the 4 and versus Hulu, the 5. So the only upset before was the 8/9, and some people will even claim if that's even really an upset. But technically, they was higher seeded, and Peacock beat Apple TV Plus. So going into the final 4 then, out of that, this is me again. Maybe for you it'd be different. It was Netflix going against Hulu now, and then HBO Max versus Discovery Plus. Again, almost cannibalism now because of the merger now. But this was then. This was before the merger. So maybe next year at this time, it might be in one app. They won't even be going against each other because they'll be together. So the final 4: Netflix versus Hulu. This is me. It's me and my Roku. Hulu wins. And HBO Max doing very well and doing better. I've had to cancel it twice, but now I got it on a promotion, half off, for 6 months. And it's been 2 months now. I still have it and been enjoying it. It's getting better. And with the addition of Discovery programming now, maybe it gets even better. Who knows? And adding movies, the Batman is going to be on HBO Max here in a couple of weeks. Next week, as a matter of fact. So in the final 4 matchup there, HBO Max versus Discovery Plus. So we have our finals here in the me and my Roku streaming bracket. And the final is Hulu versus Discovery Plus. This is me. We depend on Hulu for our next day air of shows. The other programming that's still on there that we're not getting through live anymore. I still use it to get ESPN Plus. The add-ons that I use to get through Hulu itself. I'm using Hulu itself as these things. There's options in there for me. Discovery Plus has all our Food Network and HGTV and the wedding thing there. I Say Yes to the Dress. There we go. And other programming. Plenty on there. The library is constantly growing and now becoming part of the HBO Max family, the Warner family. Other programming might be coming on there. That had nothing to do with it at this time. It's just what I need, and especially when I was sick. I needed that Beat Bobby Flay marathon going on. There's 30 seasons. I'm up to season 24. I got to get it done, folks. So the winner between Hulu and Discovery Plus, as much as I love Beat Bobby Flay and the Property Brothers and all that stuff, Hulu wins for everything they did for us this year with their add-on programming, getting the sports program to get the Red Zone this year. They didn't have it the year before and all that stuff. So when YouTube TV wasn't available to me on the Roku, Hulu was. It was there for me. All the things I could get through it. Hulu is your streaming bracket for this year. It didn't even come into I don't think it made it out of the first round in the tech experts. It was between Netflix and HBO Max. I'm only assuming Netflix won. I kind of lost interest after a while. Hopefully you were interested in all this stuff. That's just me. Maybe you can reference it for yourself and tell me what you think of what your top 16 apps on your Roku are. And I may go through my apps on that because there's just some things on there. I don't think it would end much differently. Like I said, the only thing I would probably add would be YouTube. Would I add MLB TV? I don't know. It's a service, a subscription that I use. I don't know. Interesting stuff there. That's what we like to do here on Me and My Roku. Okay, kids, gather around. Not too close. Oh, please. We had a close call there. I tested negative, but let's just kind of keep our distance here. But let's come together just a little closer so we can have a little chit-chat and discuss things along the lines. Are you a creator? Do you like write articles or a blog or anything like that? Or do you want to do your own Me and My Roku podcast? I mean, do your own. Maybe you don't have to do this, but you can, do your own thing. Hey, there's a little way that you can perpetually preserve your own creativity and all that stuff. And that's through the Internet Archive. It's available to you at archive.org. That's what I do. That's what I've been doing since 2005. They've been providing the bandwidth of my podcast here and all of my podcasts since 2005. They haven't asked a single thing. They ask for a donation here and there, and I give it to them because they are doing wonderful things preserving the Internet. A lot of other people are doing that as well, including the Journal of Horticultural Sciences. They are perpetually keeping their articles available and accessible on the Internet Archive forever. And the Internet Archive is like, well, take it. We're here. You want something preserved? Something that you've created, something you wrote a long time ago or something like that, or performed or something like that, and you want to, as long as you have the rights to it, it's yours. They'll even provide you with doing the Creative Commons and the copyright on that if you want as well. Whether it's something you wrote, something you want to record, or anything along those lines. A little different spin on the Internet Archive that's available to you. It's not just all the other things with them trying to save the Internet and preserve it and, trying to preserve the Ukrainian Internet. So they're doing that as well and trying to get as many books as they can, like an open library type of thing. But there's so much to explore and discover on there, and also for yourself, for your creative mind, to use as a tool that you can get that out there in the universe. Better out than in, right? This could just be in my mind. I could just talk to myself to all the time. Instead, I talk to you, and that's all thanks to the Internet Archive, available at archive.org. Another thing I do in the other room, in my old makeshift office, I got things going on in there that are doing things to me so that I can get gift cards, so these streaming things that I talk about don't come out of my pocket. You can do the same thing yourself if you would like. And check that out today at swagbucks.radioaffliction.com. You use that right there just as I said to you, or there's a link where you get this podcast. Check that out, and that helps me, helps you, helps them as well. Win-win-win. That's what I always like to do here. And get you started on getting your own gift cards for whatever you want to do. You want to use it for Hulu or Apple or Google? That's what I use. So I don't have to pay for Hulu. I don't have to pay for my things through Apple Music, as well as that's some of the, like Discovery Plus, I get through Apple as well. I don't have to pay for it out of my pocket. And YouTube, I can't have ads, folks. And it costs money to do that. And so there I get a Google card, and boom. So that's one of the things I use. It's the one I've used the longest. It's been the most reliable and the most secure. Check it out today, swagbucks.radioaffliction.com. You get that creative bug going, the spirit. You want to write that book, or do you want to do a little podcast? You want to just try it out? You can do a simple trial for 30 days. It'll just erase it then after that if you want, or just put it up there and just leave it on the Internet Archive. Check it out today at archive.org. All things are different before they are easy. Okay, news, notes, and stuff, and we got a lot because I've had a couple weeks worth of stuff to go in here. Baseball started, and as you recall, do we have to do this here? If you recall, you might recall. Yeah. I had a dilemma on whether or not to get my T-Mobile MLB TV package again, or just use my Apple credits, and I used my Apple credits, and it seems like that's the right choice because I have a feeling I'm going to last about another month or two. And it's not that I won't ever watch baseball again or anything. It's just I won't need it after that, and I'll just cancel it. And because there's plenty of other opportunities out there. Caught the debut of MLB's Friday Night Baseball on Apple TV Plus. And it doesn't take very long if you want to find things on the internet for people to complain about. That was one of them. And it was fine. When I was watching it, I was obviously watching something that was being done for the first time. Was it perfect? No. Was it fine? Yes. And a bunch of people, actually the main complaints I had were people are just used to watching, especially baseball, through their local regional carrier and their own announcers and their own type of things. And so this you could only watch on Apple TV Plus on Friday nights, these two particular games. So, there was something of that. Now, being the old man that I am, having to grow up, I used to watch a certain team on the north side of Chicago on WGN all the time. And then on Saturdays, if you want to watch it, it'd have to be on NBC. And then you'd get who knows what announcer. Sometimes it was Vin Scully. Sometimes it was Bob Costas. Sometimes it was somebody else. And it would be like, I want my own announcers. To me, it was the same thing. And some other thing, especially old, bald, red-haired men and all that stuff were complaining that, it's over the air and all this. It's not. It's a cable subscription. So, yeah. Anyway, so it's the fact that you had to go to Apple TV Plus, another subscription, is to me, plus it was free. If you want to complain, there's always something to complain about. But it's one of these things, it's probably the worst it's ever going to be, and it should get better from there. It was fine. They threw on some, I thought the picture looked great. They threw on some stats in the corner of the screen, all that stuff that was like, but it was fine. And I didn't have to watch that. Also, Peacock is going to be streaming 18 exclusive again. So if you want to watch these games, you're going to have to watch them on Peacock. 18 Sunday morning games, starting at about 10 a.m. my time, 11 a.m. Eastern time. So about the same time that the Boston Red Sox usually do Patriot Day games. So that should be interesting. What else? There was one other thing sports related here. Let me just kind of jump the line here a little bit. Oh, FIFA. Is going to be launching their own streaming service, FIFA Plus. There's tons of content on there. Now, apparently it's only available on iOS and Apple TV. I looked for it and couldn't find it. So maybe it's just not ready for prime time yet. So maybe we'll just hold off on this story here. But sports is just going to be a big thing for streaming in FIFA. So they're going to be also doing some live games as well. Mostly not the big ones like the English Premier League and La Liga and Bundesliga. But it looks like Danish Superliga, Polish, and Slovakia. So, hey, that's another Liga. That's fine. Netflix will now let you rate shows you love with 2 thumbs up. So, okay. Sometimes you like something, and sometimes you like something. So does this thumbs up really do? Okay, so I kind of get it. So now, like I said previously, I have that app real good. They have love, like, dislike, and hate. Okay? So now this just gives you an extra, just for that thumbs up that just, you want to give it just a little extra more. To give Netflix even a little more data about what you like and what you like. So good on Netflix. Good for you. The entire James Bond library will join Prime Video. For now. I haven't checked yet to see if it's there now. It says in April. And it just says for now. And it's not forever. Even though Amazon now owns the MGM library, which includes the James Bond library. Now, once again, we have to do the asterisk there. This is the Eon Productions, Broccoli, Saltzman family of films. So not the 1967 Casino Royale, not the Barry Nelson Diamond Theater version of Casino Royale, and not Never Say Never Again with Sean Connery. Even though that was Sony, but that also became part of MGM. I thought maybe part of Columbia or something. Anyway, so just from Dr. No to No Time to Die, those will all be there for now until they're not. So, and that's just like life. They're there until they're not. This particular thing has passed. This deal has passed, but there'll be more. And this is the little hint, the little reminder that they can't miss you if you don't go away, type of thing. So if you are a former Sling TV subscriber, you received an email saying you'll get 2 weeks for free until that would have been 1 more week. So that specific deal has passed. But then I went there and looked again, and it was offering me a free few days of Sling Blue. And at the time, I wanted Sling Orange and all that stuff. So that leads to the next story, which the reason why I didn't go with the deal is because a survey says 64% of streaming customers want better bundling options and are feeling overwhelmed by options. So I'm sure we'd all like to have our cake and eat it too. So if they're saying, I'd like to bundle Netflix with Hulu and all of these things, they're obviously competitors and all that stuff, well, that ain't going to happen. the thing that I had with Sling was that there was too many options to me. This is like, okay, do you want Sling Orange? Do you want Sling Blue? Then do you want the family option? Do you want the sports option? Do you want this? And there was like 20 different options. Then if I would have gotten them all, then actually it would have been more expensive than Hulu Plus Live TV or YouTube TV. So yes, Sling does have that $35 option, but then there's plenty of other things. So I felt overwhelmed, and after a while, my COVID started kicking in, and I just didn't want it anymore. I said, screw it. And to be perfectly honest, what I was actually looking for was to get the game day coverage of the Masters on ESPN. It turns out I didn't need that because all the different 4 or 5 different options between featured groups and featured holes and all these different things on both ESPN Plus and Paramount Plus was fine. I had COVID. I was sick. I didn't feel well. I just put something on, and hearing those little birds in the background was like, it was fine with me. So yes, there was a feature group that figured what was that one player? Tiger Woods. There was that group, and that was fine. And they were following on all the other things too. So it was fine. I didn't end up needing it, and I'm glad. Even though it didn't cost me anything. So now here's another thing I've been hearing about, and I'll have to report back to you on this. This Magellan TV, I'm hearing a bunch of stories about it. I never heard of it. But it's saying here, Magellan TV will pay someone $100 per hour to watch true crime documentaries. That's what I would say in the me and my Roku part of this. The me part of this is like $100 an hour. That's a good start to watch the programming. To me, that's available on Discovery Plus, and I don't watch it on Discovery Plus. Now, if you're going to pay me to do it, it would be a negotiation. Everyone has a price, right? I don't think $100 an hour would be enough for me, but who knows? Remember this story? We're all talking about YouTube TV and Google having the big spat last year, and then someone was noticing, well, hey, I noticed that Amazon and Roku's deal is coming up. Oh, what are you going to do? Oh, what happens if this happens? Well, nonchalantly just happened that Roku and Amazon reached a multi-year extension for both Prime Video and IMDb TV. So, crisis averted there. Didn't even come to that. Not even this like, oh my gosh, in 24 hours it's going to happen. There was no back and forths between anybody. Everyone got along. Everyone's fine. And no one ever really knows there's a problem. One problem, though, IMDb TV. I kind of got wind of this because I was listening to a podcast with a TV creator who was doing a show for IMDb TV, but noticed that they were holding off on it because they were changing the name. I already got wind of it. Couldn't break news of it because I didn't know what the name was. Well, now we know. Amazon is going to rebrand the FAST or AVOD streamer IMDb TV as Freevee. Coming soon here in the next couple of weeks. Freevee. A lot of people like to make complaints about names. PlayStation View was always kind of a big bugaboo for some people and all that stuff. Never bothered me. Fine. It's better than IMDb TV because it really has nothing to do with the IMDb app. So, sure, Freevee. It's free. And I don't know what the V part, TV part, I don't know. So I'm sure they had a big meeting around people, and they said, how about Freevee? And someone said, Charlie, beautiful, go with it. Get the pamphlets out and the newsletters and all that good stuff. So, fine. Good for them. And finally, a report saying that HBO Max has passed Disney Plus and Hulu combined in market share. So what does that mean? It's fine. You're going to hear stories like this. And they're all good. They're all fine. And so now that HBO Max should be probably bigger, probably as big as Netflix, probably as big as Disney. Disney's just done some wonderful things. So it doesn't matter to me. They're all fine services. I like them. They're good. As a matter of fact, I'm starting to get a little itchy and a little twitchy. I want to start getting back to some of these services because I enjoy them so much. But I do enjoy talking to you. And I hope that you enjoyed listening to me as well. Because I feel better. I hope this new setup is sounding well. It's good to hear myself when I talk, which I couldn't do before and all that stuff. So this is good for me, and I hope it's good for you. So, hey, if you would like to say thank you and all along those lines, send me a note, email me at meandmyrokupodcast@gmail.com. You can follow me on Twitter at Radio Affliction. You can follow me on Instagram at Pierre Argyle. And also a special thanks to archive.org for their support and providing the bandwidth of this podcast and all my podcasts since 2005. The best way, though, that you can help this podcast is to subscribe or tell someone to subscribe. Just anyone. Just tell them to subscribe. Do it yourself. If you subscribed on one, go to another and subscribe there as well, because it's fun, because you can. It's free. It doesn't hurt anything. You can subscribe to the Me and My Roku podcast on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Stitcher, Spreaker, Spotify, TuneIn, Amazon Music, Ghana, JioSaavn, Himalaya, SoundCloud, YouTube, iHeartMedia, Podbean, Pandora, and Odyssey. We love Odyssey. We love them all. I don't play favorites. Until then, I hope you are enjoying you and your Roku as much as I'm enjoying me and my Roku. And I'll be back with you real soon.
That's it. It's over. It's all over.
This is a test of the Emergency Whiskey Tasting Association. Had this been a real emergency, I'd be running and screaming and breaking things because I didn't have any whiskey. Thank you.